Aoife Rigney is one of these kind of phenoms, as our American cousins would say. As she told me last week, she's never had a job, per se, but she's done all these amazing things. And she's going to talk to you about a little challenge that some of us may have. And I wonder what that may be. Aoife Rigney.
Thanks, Dawn, for that lovely introduction. Good evening, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here. I have my notes there in case I go blank looking at you. First of all, I'm Aoife Rigney, and I am a digital addict. Technology is fantastic, and I'm sure you all agree, and there's loads of you tweeting and updating as I speak and as Julia was speaking. But the question I ask is, are we logging out enough? And I know it sounds funny coming from a digital marketer telling everyone to be online, but sometimes we just need to log out. But before I diagnose you all as digital addicts as well, I'd like to take you on a very short journey, and it's a bumpy, messy ride inside my head, but hold on tight and here we go. I imagine my headspace as a bookshelf with boxes on each of those shelves. And inside of those boxes is ideas and worries and fears and thoughts. And each of those boxes is labelled different categories. So there's one for the family, there's one for friends and relationships, there's a massive one for the business, there's one for scouts, and so on and so on. And the lid on these boxes opens and these ideas flow out. And the ideas go back in and the lid closes and peace is restored. But just a small while before Christmas, I noticed that there was another new box on the shelf, and I couldn't quite figure out what it was or what the label read, and it was wrecking my head. And after a small while, I figured out that the label read digital activity. And it was taking over my headspace. I could not get the crippling fears, the brilliant ideas, the fantastic the hopes and the exciting plans back in the box with the lid closed. It was taking over my headspace. And it took a while to figure out what was going on, and it brought me to the point of needing a digital detox. I needed to log off. I needed to just switch off. And so that's where my question comes from. I wonder, do we log off enough? 60% of us can't go longer than an hour without checking our phones. I'm definitely guilty of that. In fact, I probably couldn't go longer than 10 minutes. And I'll share a little embarrassing story with you. When I arrived tonight, I went into the room, we were talking and we were just chatting and kind of settling. And Aoife dashes off and everyone's going, where is she going? And I spotted a plug under a shelf, behind a corner and underneath something else. And what? My phone was on like 5% and I was going, oh my God, I need to plug in. I'm recovering, slowly but surely, okay? No, we log in way too much, I think, and, it sometimes gives us these fears or these feelings of panic or anxiousness or worry. And I can honestly say, when my battery goes low enough, or if I can't get into the Wi-Fi, or if I don't have my phone, I do get that anxious feeling of, oh my God, how am I going to tell the time? I don't have a watch. How is the world going to communicate with me, and vice versa, and Twitter and Facebook and all these various things? And those feelings can't be good. And I also question, does it affect our productivity? Are we functioning at our most productive or best when we have all these devices and these buzzes and notifications and even just the consciousness of being online? And I suppose for me, between digital marketing campaigns for clients and social media stuff, and building my own reputation online and connecting with those, connections and contacts online, I really did reach burnout, and my system needed to just switch off and, reboot. And it brings me to my next point of, if, we are logged on so much and we're all this digital activity and it's constant and, we don't really take a break. And then this happens. Yes, the phone dies, but we also have a battery. We're a little bit like that. And we need to, unplug and turn off and just, take it easy. But we also lose energy. And it is energy zapping, all this, constant updating and tweeting and pinning and liking and sharing and linking and Google Plussing and YouTubing and Vining and snapping. And, it's endless, and it is absolutely exhausting, and it really did. It affected me, and I suppose it took me to the point where I was kind of okay, enough is enough. My battery died. So just before Christmas, I was absolutely exhausted, from work and all the other things. But this box on the bookshelf in my head was getting bigger and bigger, and I couldn't get the ideas to go back in. I couldn't get the lid to just close down, and it was taking over, thinking about family or thinking about the business or thinking about scouts or whatever it was, And then the idea of like, I think I have a problem. And it took a while, and actually I still laugh because we all think of like addictions as, very serious things, and they are. And I suppose maybe we don't realise that we're borderline addicts. And it's funny that the room is really dark, from here, and I can see those on the phones, and it's so funny because you're all kind of going, I'm not on it. Anyway, I'm not tweeting. Okay. It's okay, tweet, it's okay. I just want to point out that we're probably all a little bit digitally addicted. And the idea of when I decide to meet somebody for a meeting or lunch or just even a social thing, I go, okay, why don't we meet in this place? They have great Wi-Fi and loads of plugs. Don't know about the food or parking, but they've got plugs and Wi-Fi. And it started to actually affect where I was meeting people, and I was starting to meet people where there was availability of plugs. It's mad. And it was actually also taking from all these other things. I had a pile of books on my desk that I really wanted to read, and I never got a chance because I was too busy tweeting. And there was, places I wanted to go, and I was like, oh no, I won't bother, I'll do a bit of work and we'll tweet or whatever. So I did miss out on things. And I was choosing internet over water to an extent. So here's a few pointers. If you think you might be digitally addicted, and we'll set up a support group after this. It'll be on Twitter, #addicted or something. Might help. No, look, if you think you might be suffering from this a little bit and you mightn't want to admit to it, if you're missing out on doing things like reading that book that's on the bedside table gathering dust for the last 6 months, you probably need to read it, turn off the phone and read it. If you're spending more than 2 hours a day on social media, your emails, browsing the internet, playing Candy Crush, updating your crops on Farmville, whatever you're into, it's probably time you stepped away just for an hour here and there. 43% of us admit to checking our social media every 10 minutes. Guilty. And actually, in fact, there was a statistic, and I can't quite think of it, but it's something like 60% of us are logged in for more than 20 into Facebook for longer than 20 hours a week, something like that. And actually, I never log out. It's on my phone logged in, it's on my laptop logged in, I get notifications if you add me or do anything on Facebook, I get it straight away. Same with Twitter, so I actually never log out, so I'm not even in the statistic. So if you're logged on for more than 2 hours on your emails and browsing, you're probably in need of a little bit of support. If you find yourself lying in bed at night like this, probably hit your face with the phone at one point or another, checking your social media or checking the emails or having a quick look at booking.com to figure out where we're going on holidays or whatever. Again, if it's the last thing you look at night and the first thing you look at in the morning, join my support group. It's on Twitter. Then if you're out for a meal and you realise that you're taking a picture of your dinner and you look up and you realise your other half or the group of friends are all taking pictures of their own dinner just so that they can Instagram it, so that they can share it on Facebook because they just checked into the fancy restaurant that they were tweeting all week, all while your food is going cold, probably time to take a little bit of a digital detox. On a serious note though, it is something that really did affect me personally, and I suppose that's what brought me to the whole thing of bringing some awareness about it. We as humans do need to just chill out every now and again, but it's really important that we don't let the digital activity take over our lives, which it kind of did for me, but I'm in recovery, as I say. It's okay. So, are we ignoring the signs? All of us have laptops and digital devices and phones and smartphones and iPads or whatever. And I'm sure you're used to seeing all these notifications pop up every now and again, probably more regularly than you'd like. And you have to update the software, and chances are the phone has to restart. And it probably takes about 10 minutes. that's your reminder to take your digital detox. We're like laptops. We need to switch off and restart and get back into it again. And I suppose the similarities between us, the fact that, you know, we are too like laptops or like digital devices. We do need a reboot every now and again. We need to switch off, update our software and log back in again. And I suppose that's what I'm calling for, is a quick switch off, a reboot and a software update of all of us too. So I wouldn't be a digital marketer without a picture of a cat. So anyone else in social media will kind of get that insider joke there. So what's the recipe for a digital detox? Well, that's pretty much up to you, unfortunately, but I'll give you some tips. One is, I suppose, acknowledgement that you kind of might need a digital detox. The fact that you're probably missing having your phone in front of you is probably a good sign, or kind of getting anxious if your phone isn't there. But here's what to do. So plan it in advance. So for me, I have to plan it about 2 weeks in advance and schedule it in and work my work around it, because if I don't, it won't happen. And I take an hour or two, or sometimes 4 or 5, depending on what I need, and I turn off my phone. In fact, I actually give it to my better half, because he knows I'll turn it back on, and I switch off. But I don't just switch off and kind of sit there and go, what am I going to do now? I wonder who's treating me. What am I missing? What if somebody likes something? What I do instead is I actually plan and go and do something in that time. So I read the book, or I go for a walk, or I take the scouts away for a day or whatever. So plan it in advance, pick a day and a time, and it's up to you how long you spend on your digital detox. It can be an hour, it can be 10 minutes while your iPhone is updating. It can be a day, it could be a week, maybe you need a month, that's up to you. But you know, pick that time and work with it. Also, maybe gather a few friends and all do a digital detox together. So it's kind of like a genuinely like a support group. So go off, have dinner, have lunch, have coffee, whatever. Do something together so that you're all there. And if somebody kind of reaches for the phone, you can go, oh, no, don't do it. Okay. The huge thing about the digital detox is it's a personal thing, and it's about what you need and what you feel you need the break. But of course, I always say, come back soon. Don't forget to come back. Technology is fantastic. Digital marketing, digital activity is super, and you can probably tell I'm fairly into it. But I'm not saying log off and stay off. I'm not saying, you know, take a month of a break. In fact, what I'm saying is maybe take an hour a week and just chill out for that hour and then come back, because you'll feel so much more refreshed. And from a business's point of view, if you're a business using social media, perhaps that business can take a bit of a digital detox too. And what I mean by that is maybe take an hour out and, you know, turn off your devices, but maybe post less but better stuff. So maybe that's your digital detox. So take your digital detox, but don't forget to come back. Finally, this Friday is now National Unplug Day. It's done in the States, but I don't think it's ever been done in Ireland. I'm calling for us all to unplug on Friday, from sunrise to sunset, so whatever time that is, and just enjoy the world without all the buzzes and notifications and pings and tweets and likes and whatever else goes along with it, and enjoy the detox. So maybe that's your first digital detox. Maybe that's your homework for today. So I would love for you all to join me in the digital detox. I'll be tweeting about it all week, and then I'll have my phone off. And if anybody sees me online on Friday, please tell me to just turn off the phone. I'll be on emails, don't worry, anybody looking at me going, oh, I'll be on my emails, but I won't be on social media, hopefully. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you to Adon and his team as well for having me as well. I really enjoyed it. So thank you.